Hey, how's it going? So, we are getting into the seed project, and I wanted to come by and share a couple of tips that I have about Bible study, Bible versions, and verse memorization. So, the first thing I wanted to talk about was Bible versions. And I am really particular when I am reading the word on a daily basis to use the New Living Translation. Now, the reason I use this for just reading the Bible is that I feel it is the most conversational, closest to the way that we speak on a day-to-day basis that I have found in any translation. It takes out all the these and thous and thys, and it really just puts in more common English language. So that's what I use just to read the word. Now, to do memorization, when I'm going to memorize a verse, I use the English Standard Version, and I will be using that throughout the Seed Project for all of the verses that we're going to learn together. You, of course, can use any version that you want. You are not relegated to only one version, but this is what I will be using for the Seed Project. So I really think that it is concise. I think it is clear, and I think it is closest to the original language that we can find today, and that is why I'm going to use the ESV for memorization. When I do Bible study, one of the versions that I add to my repertoire is called the Net Bible. It's the New English Translation. And the notes that have been compiled in the Net Bible are the notes that are used in the NIV. It was compiled by a bunch of scholars who spent years and years in their field studying and putting together notes on all of the books of the Bible. And so there are, specialists in Genesis, there are specialists in John, there are specialists in Revelation, and they have all come together and created the Net Bible that they feel is closest to original language, very close to a direct translation from either Hebrew or Aramaic and then Greek. And they have put notes together, and I really like to be able to view those notes while I'm doing a study so that it just kind of adds more to what I'm doing and what I'm reading. So if I'm reading in the New Living Translation, I definitely use the Net Bible to help me with the notes. So that's what I do. It's just a recommendation. You can do whatever is good for you, whatever works for you. There is no rule about this. But I will tell you that I use online apps and tools in order to help me with my study. So one of the tools that I use is Bible.com, which a lot of us also know as YouVersion. And there are tons of different versions on there. There are tons of languages. And so it's a great place to read and to study and to see very quickly what other translations say. It's an awesome resource. Another great resource is BibleGateway.com. I really like this for when I want to save something, especially in the Word, like a verse or part of a chapter. It's a great place to go for cutting and pasting into either documents or into like a text note or something. I really like the way that happens in Bible Gateway, and so that's why I use it. The final one I really like is Blue Letter Bible, and what I like there is all of the commentaries that are available. So every single chapter has commentaries that are available from many different sources, and I love to go there. So if you've never used that before, you might really like it. I highly recommend it, and that's blueletterbible.com. Okay, so here's some tips about memorization of verses. I know that this can be really hard, and if you're like me, you've tried to do this in your life over many, many years, and sometimes it works and sometimes it's just frustrating that you just can't get it. So I'm going to tell you that the methodology that I found that works so well for me is using the first letter of every word in the verse. So to make this really simple, if the verse was Jesus wept, it would be J and W. So J for Jesus and W for wept. That's a very simplified way to explain it, but the idea is that when you see that first letter, it really stimulates something in your mind so that you can remember what the words are and then remember the rest of the verse. It's a great way to do it, and it's what we're going to do in the Seed Project. I am going to give you a sheet with every verse that we memorize that has the first letter from each word so that you can use this method and see if it really works for you. Now, there are tons of different ways to memorize verses, and there's tons of different advice on how to do it. If you go to Pinterest and just put in Bible memorization, you're going to get a whole bunch of results. I've actually created a board over there on the Real Fun Family Pinterest site for the Seed Project, and I've put some of the best articles that I found about how to memorize, tips for memorizing, all that stuff. So if you want to check those out, you can. But the way that we're going to do it is just putting that first letter of each word down and then being able to remember the whole verse that way. It is very fun, and when you see success at it, it makes you want to do more and more and more. So that is what's happening in terms of versions and some tips on memorization for the Seed Project that I wanted you to know. And I hope that it's helpful to you as you move into each unit and begin to study and memorize and learn all of the things that we're going to go through. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know. And there's some definite links that I've put below this video so that you can check them out. One of the ones I really wanted to tell you about is there's a great site that's an app you can use on your computer or your tablet or your phone called BibleMemory.com. And it's a place where you can download a verse or group of verses, and then you can practice the memorization. It runs you through all these fun things to do to memorize. So you can either use that first letter of each word method, you can write the whole thing out. It allows you to do that and to practice. So I am going to be using that. There will be a group there for the Seed Project for all of the verses that we do. And if you are interested in getting that, it's free, but there's also a pro version. And if you're interested in the pro version, which is not very expensive, $7-8 for a lifetime of using the app, there's a link that is down below that you can get 20% off. So there you have it. No problem. I hope that's helpful to you, and I will see you soon.